On this episode of Get Judged by Byron Browne.
I asked him what's going on. He told me, he said, just get my black ass out.
No one has the right to discriminate against you, and no one has the right to say what that guy said to you.
Wait, they wrote you up in this situation?
I was missing pretty much 75% of the cartilage in my head.
If you sit on your hands and you don't exercise your rights, then your rights evaporated. I'm Byron Browne, the anti-lawyer lawyer. I'm a husband and a father. I fight for the little guy. And I'm a no-nonsense lawyer with a reputation for never losing in court. I'll judge your situation, and I'll tell you straight out if you got a case. It may not be the answer you want, but it will be the judgment you need. Time to get judged by me, Big B. Hello, this is Get Judged by Byron Browne, and I'm Byron Browne. And with me, as always, is Danya, the Duchess, taking your calls. We got another great show lined up, so let's dig into it.
All right, this is a very topical work-related issue. It's going to be a tough one. I mean, I still can't even believe that managers are acting like this. So get it together, people. Carrie, you are on with attorney Byron Browne. What's your question?
Good morning, Baron. My question today is, I was wondering if I have a discrimination case against a manager that threatened violence against me, and he used racial slurs against me.
Man, sorry to hear that you're going through that, Carrie. Tell me, what did he exactly say to you?
Well, actually, I'm gonna go back a little bit. When I was late getting to the yard because I was sick, so I pulled over for a while, and I rested and I used the bathroom, whatever. So I proceeded on to the terminal. And when I got there, we have to log in to report that we are there on the yard. So by that time, he was pulling up. The guy was pulling up in a truck, a yard truck. So he jumped out. He immediately jumped out he was mad. He was upset, and I asked him what was going on. He told me, he said, just get my black ass out.
Whoa, that's insane that he said that, first of all. But Carrie, can you where do you work? Paint us a picture.
I work for a major truck line, a major trucking company that's worldwide. And
how long have you worked there?
I've been here for 2 years.
Okay, and you've always held the same position, Carrie?
Yes, I'm a line haul driver, and I've had the same position. My record is outstanding.
Now, have you ever had any other instances like this with this particular employer?
No other instances. That was my first time meeting. I didn't even know who he was.
Now, did you report this guy to the company for what he said to you?
I did report him to my immediate supervisor.
What did your immediate supervisor do, if anything, Carrie?
Well, she sent me to the head dispatcher, and he made note of. He emailed the HR department.
Was he disciplined?
I don't know. They didn't tell me. They did an investigation. They saw the camera. All of our companies have cameras.
What did their investigation turn up?
Well, they didn't. I don't know what happened to him, but they wrote me up and said that because of the company conduct, they only heard me using the F-bomb against him.
Wait, they wrote you up in this situation?
They did, yes. Yes, they wrote me up. I filed a complaint with the EEOC here in North Carolina. They did an investigation, and they gave me the right to sue.
Right, and that's the thing I was going to ask you, is the Equal Employment Opportunity Committee is the first stop, right? Because you got to report the discrimination to them, which you did, which is good, and then they've issued you a notice of right to sue. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
Now, I hate to say this, but have you ever gone through this before, Carrie, with another company or another situation, even with the same company, where you've filed a complaint with the EEOC and went through that process?
No, sir. But I went through the same situation years ago. I didn't when I first started driving. I've been driving trucks for 31 years. And I went through with another company the way I was treated, and I didn't know I had the right.
So this is the first time you've ever filed a complaint with the EEOC or pursued any sort of action against anybody for discrimination. Is that fair?
Yes. First time.
Now, have you consulted with a lawyer yet after you filed your EEOC and they issued the notice of right to sue? Have you talked to a lawyer at all?
I have not. I've been trying, but I haven't found a lawyer that will take the case.
Okay. Now, I understand that you were written up, but I don't know if I got an answer. Was the gentleman who made those very rude comments to you, was he disciplined at all from what you know to date?
They would not tell me anything what happened to him. They would not tell me anything. He is the terminal manager of that terminal.
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing, Carrie. It doesn't matter if you were late for work. It doesn't matter if you were tardy. It doesn't matter if you used the F word. No one has the right to discriminate against you, and no one has the right to say what that guy said to you. And I'm sorry that you went through that. But what you're doing is exactly what you need to do. The first stop is filing a complaint with the EEOC and then them issuing you your notice of right to sue. And now that you have that notice of right to sue, I encourage you to go to a lawyer, talk to that lawyer about your options about filing a lawsuit, because definitely sounds like you have a lawsuit. I'm sorry for what you went through, but I guess the good news maybe is that you get a fight back, that you have some rights, and I encourage you to exercise those rights. Hey, thanks a lot for your call, Carrie. We appreciate your time and appreciate you sharing your story.
And Carrie, I just want to say that you should feel really proud of yourself for going to report this, because sometimes it's really hard for people to go to their higher ups and let them know that a situation like this happened. You said this is the second time it's happened to you and the first time you didn't. So you should feel really, really proud of yourself for feeling comfortable enough to go to your superiors to tell them what happened. And I hope that this all works out for you for the best.
Thank you so much. And thank you all
Carrie.
for having me.
Yeah,
You're
thanks
welcome.
for the call, Carrie. Appreciate you.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And here's my closing statement. Go get your money.
All right. This case had me boiling over, and it might not
100%.
look like it, but underneath I was just like
Same
dying
thing.
for him. And you and I, we've connected over that several times, how much we hate bullies and we hate people that do stuff like this. Like, so what were your initial thoughts?
That guy needs to be held accountable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's disgusting. It's crazy with everything that we've been through in this country, socially, politically, and otherwise, and that people still have those horrible thoughts. Not only do they have those thoughts, but then they voice them to people.
Yeah.
It's so discourteous. And I applaud him for doing it. Your point at the end was great.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he has enough courage to stick up for himself, and a lot of people don't. They don't want to fight that fight, and I get it. But the people that do, I think it's really important because not only is he going to do something for himself and stick up for himself, but hopefully he's sticking up for other people, right? If that guy gets his hand slapped for saying some rude and indignant stuff, then hopefully he's less likely to do it in the future, and then less likely for people to have to deal with that negativity in the future, because
I agree.
You know, I can't put myself in his shoes, but I definitely can tell, like, that's something that nobody should go through.
I agree. I mean, the reason why I even said that to Carrie at the end is because I've had similar situations. But I honestly haven't been that person to go forward to say anything, because it's a big headache. It's things that now you have to worry about how your coworkers are going to feel about you, what they're going to think, what they're going to say. And it's a lot to have to carry. Carrie, good for you for
Well, and the other
stepping
thing
up.
is I think it's easier said than done, too.
Yeah.
When you still put yourself in that situation, you're living that emotion over and over and over again. I understand why some people are like, nah, you know what? I'm just going to bump on with my way.
Yeah.
But again, I applaud people like Carrie for sure.
I mean, I honestly can't believe that this is still happening.
Welcome back. What do we got, Danya?
Okay, Byron, I feel like you're really going to relate to this next caller, having played pro sports and all of that. So, Jimmy, you are on with attorney Byron Browne. What's your question?
Thanks so much for having me. Yes, I did play college football and briefly professional. So my question is, I'm wondering if I have a medical malpractice case against my former university and their team doctors. Basically I was playing, college football.
When did you leave college football, Jimmy?
2001.
Okay. When was this incident that happened in college that you think may have been medical malpractice?
So basically, I was having a lot of hip pain while I was playing at the university, and they did a bunch of tests and trying to figure out why I was having hip pain, and eventually they just said they can't find anything wrong with me. And
what sort of tests did they do? MRIs, X-rays, or just a physical exam?
So yeah, they did X-rays and supposedly MRIs. I've had numerous blood tests.
Right. So when was that exam that they did with the MRI of your hip in college? The year's really relevant, so that's why I'm hammering in on that point. Can you give me an exact date or just even an approximation of the year?
I believe it was in 2000.
Okay. Now, what was the result of that examination? Did they diagnose you with a hip injury, or what did they say? Hey, you're good to go. They gave you a clean bill of health.
Yeah, they virtually gave me a clean bill of health and said they couldn't find anything wrong with me.
How many years had you played football up until the point of college, Jimmy?
I guess organized 4, just through high school.
Okay. And then you played, what, 3 to 4 years in college?
Played 4 years in college, and then I signed as a free agent professionally.
And then how long did you play professional football for?
Just several months.
Okay. I'm assuming before you signed with the professional football league that they gave you some sort of exam physical that you cleared. Is that fair?
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
they do just a brief physical exam, which I did pass at the time.
Okay. Then I'm assuming at some point in time there was another test that was conducted or exam that revealed something that leads you to believe that the college exam was insufficient. Is that fair?
That is correct.
Okay, so what happened? Tell me about the exam that you had done in the professional league that gave you different results.
Yeah, so I started having hip pain, with that team, and
Different hip pain than you had in college, or the same hip pain?
the same hip pain that I was having while I was in college, and they did, obviously with the professional team, they did the MRI with the contrast. And that's where I found out that I was missing pretty much 75% of the cartilage in my hips.
What year did they do the MRI with contrast?
That was 2002.
2002. So 21 years has passed since the MRI with contrast. Is that fair? I mean, how has that hip pain injury, the loss of 75% of your cartilage, I mean, that's got to impact your life. How does that affect you day to day?
So I mean, day to day, I'm in pain virtually every day. You hear a lot about addiction and that kind of stuff. I had to go to pain doctors, and I didn't realize what the pain medicine would end up doing, but I ended up becoming an addict, which I'm in recovery now. I've got numerous years of recovery now. But
Congratulations, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I myself 8 years sober, so I commend you for that. I know how hard it is. And how vulnerable you can be in sharing that information. So thank you very much. This is the thing, unfortunately, Jimmy, and you might already know this, but in the state of Florida, there's a 4-year statute of limitations on medical malpractice claims. So the standard would be, did the college or the doctors in college fail to provide you with the proper standard of evaluation that they conducted on that particular time? Now, even if you don't have a statute of limitations issue, I think what they did for you in college was sufficient. There's no requirement that they actually conduct an MRI with contrast, which is, I guess, great that you had when you became a professional and then you were able to find out about that injury. But even if they did something wrong, which I don't think they did, you would have had 4 years from that time that MRI or evaluation was conducted to file a lawsuit. That extends to 7 if you can prove that maybe someone had some fraudulent behavior that precluded you from learning about this, but that doesn't sound like the case at all. So unfortunately, it's one of those situations where if you sit on your hands and you don't exercise your rights, then your rights evaporated, and that's the case that happened here, unfortunately. So unfortunately, Jimmy, I mean, I wish I had a better answer for you. If you would have come and spoken to me earlier, like 16, 17 years earlier, maybe we'd have a different result for you. But that's why I always encourage people. If you think something's wrong, consult a lawyer. I know not everybody wants to consult a lawyer, but that's how you're going to find out if you have rights. And with this particular case, any lawyer, personal injury lawyer, would have given you that advice, Jimmy.
Consult a lawyer or call us up.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for your call, Jimmy. And thanks a lot for sharing that personal information. It means a lot to me.
Yes, thanks for having me on. Thank you.
Good luck with everything, Jimmy.
He shoots. He misses.
Oh, poor Jimmy.
Man, I feel for Jimmy.
Yeah.
I really feel like, he shared the issue about his sobriety now, which is great. But, I think that's one of the things not a lot of people understand is, we look up to these pro athletes, but they go through a lot. They put their body on the line a lot, and then they have to live with the repercussions for that. And it sounds like the hip pain, the hip injury that he suffered, he's gonna deal with it, and he's gonna deal with it the rest of his life.
That's crazy. And I mean, even we're sitting here and Byron's telling me about how he has to get a shoulder replacement.
Well, and that's the thing, right? I played hockey my whole life. I've had my shoulder dislocated multiple times. I'm still a relatively young guy, right?
Yeah.
But that's the tax I pay for living a life.
Now, 20 some odd years later, he has to pay for it. And
He's
you're
paying
being
for it.
very modest, okay? He's like, yeah, I played pro sports. You were an enforcer.
Yeah.
Like super physical, got
Yeah.
into so many fights.
Yeah.
In
No,
the ring.
I've been boxing. I fought on the ice. I was a doorman in college. So, yeah, I've been in my fair share of scraps. But, I grew up, got a little bit more mature, and now we're here.
Yeah.
Fighting for the little people. And that's what I
Fighting for
like
the
to
little
do.
people.
I like to fight for the people who don't have the voice or maybe, don't want to be heard. We can step up, and that's what I love about this show.
I love it.
We get to help people resolve their issues.
Yes. Byron's got your back, people.